Hey, what's up, you guys? It is Xantho here, and this is going to be an update on the progress on the Sunder Totems champion. I switched my resolution to 1080p instead of 1440p ultra wide because somebody had messaged me and said that it was kind of hard to read the PoB stuff in the videos because it was kind of smaller due to the higher resolution. So for this, I'm thinking for my PoB videos, I'm just going to record in 1080p. So, PoB has been updated for the new tree. At least if you go to go to options and opt into weekly beta test builds. Click this button here, and you will be prompted to update. You can update, and then you're good. Now, this update does not have all of the additional passives. Well, actually it does have all the passives, but they're not all updated. For example, these retaliation skill things don't do anything. A lot of these banner things don't do anything. These rage things don't really do anything. But for our purposes it works perfectly fine because pretty much every passive we're using, even the new ones, the changed ones, are using already established mods, so they work in PoB already. So the only thing I've changed in the configs is basically all the normal stuff for champion and stuff. Big Sunder buff, because that hasn't been fixed yet or updated yet. Earthbreaker support is 25% more damage, and then Ancestral Bond and from Dawn Strider and the which used to be Totem Mastery, which is now on Dawn Strider, with 5% damage from hits taken from your nearest totem before you. And then I have Flesh and Stone, 20% more damage, and Blood and Sand, 14% more damage. Mostly because I have this in Sand stance. If I turn it to Blood stance, it'll turn on Flesh and Stone Maim. And I don't want Flesh and Stone Maim on because it's going to be adding extra damage on top of this. So I'm just having the Sand stance to manually adding in the damage boosts of Flesh and Stone and Blood and Sand at level 19, respectively. So, our main damage setup is now going to be in our boots, of course. Earthbreaker, Multi-Strike, Brutality. Earthbreaker is going to be supported by the boots themselves, so you're not going to need to have this gem. But Multi-Strike, Brutality, Melee Fizz, Sunder. We're going to have 3 Sunder Totems. Shield, it's going to contain our auras. I mean, you really can put anything anywhere, but I just have my auras on my shield, my main auras. Which are going to be Petrified Blood, which is a spell, so it doesn't get affected by Eternal Blessing, which is cool. And then Determination and Pride. I have them both ticked right now just for demonstration purposes in the PoB. So you can see how much armor you're going to have while mapping and how much damage you're going to have while bossing, which is about 8.7 million. That's conditional. You're probably not going to have that up all the time. I would expect at least 6 million consistent. And then, 8.7 million peak when everything is up perfectly. So secondary auras, we got Blood and Sand, Flesh and Stone. Then we have our shield charge, faster attacks. With so many open sockets now compared to before, we do have the ability to put in faster attacks for our shield charge, which is really nice. It's going to help a lot with mobility and mapping. Then on our helmet, we have our Poacher's Mark, Bolt Shell, Precision Dash. You turn this off to get a more realistic view of our EHP and max hits. Now these don't look that impressive. They really don't look that impressive. But with 68-63 block, you're not going to be getting hit that much for that much damage. And then with all the recovery we have, it's really not that bad. You really shouldn't be tanking. Things that can one-shot you, you really shouldn't be tanking anyway. You should be just manually dodging them with your dash. And getting shotgun is not really an issue on this build because we have super high recovery. This life leech is a bit deceptive. It's actually more than that because we have instant leech coming from 5 different sources. And we also have overleech from Petrified Blood having slightly over 50% unreserved life. So as soon as you go below 50% life, you're gonna get Petrified Blood overleech, which is gonna be several, over 1,000 life per second. And then we have our instant leech, which is very, very nice. Because fortunately they did keep in the physical attack damage W totems leads to his life mastery, which is amazing. Found a few other cool stuff like some reservation efficiency here. They did take away 8% reservation efficiency from the champion of the cause wheel and just slap it over here, but we did gain 12% here, which is nice. And then 20% here. So I am now going to go precise technique instead of resolute technique, which it just makes more sense. It's more damage. It's more achievable with this tree pathing because we do not need to path all the way up to Ancestral Bond anymore. So we're just going to be anointing Shamanistic Fury for the totem placement speed, which is big. I tested this out earlier a couple days ago, and it just feels really good. The placement is really good, especially if you get a Ancestral Reach and Sleepless Undreams medium Pleasure Jewel. The extra totem placement speed and totem placement range are really nice. So this is Brink of Death has been moved. It used to be like over here, so it would be kind of annoying to path to it. But since it's right here, we just get 5.2% regeneration per second because we're always going to be on low life. So that's a lot of regeneration per second, which is really cool. The block passives have been changed. There's some additional block passives, which gives us up to, as I said, 68-63 block spell block. With this mastery for 1% block spell block per 5% chance to block attack damage, makes it a lot easier to cap out, along with versatile combatant. So this is a level 93 tree. I did pick up a frenzy charge, and then unfortunately we're gonna need pretty much 2 reservation efficiency corrupted jewels. So pretty much have just a live search out for those early league. Pick one up as soon as you can. It doesn't have to have Impale on it. Impale is just the highest damage one to get you 100% Impale chance. But just pick up any of these, literally any at all. They shouldn't be that expensive early, because you need to get to 51% unreserved life so you can get your overleach from Petrified Blood. Because with the changes to our aura setup, we're going to be running, as I said, Flesh and Stone instead of Dread Banner. So we have basically a 5% extra reservation that we didn't have before that we have to deal with. We get Brutal Skewering, which is an additional Impale hit, which is amazing. You get attack speed, Impale chance. There's a lot more Impale chance in the tree now because the loss of the Impale from Dread Banner. So Forceful Skewering is fantastic. Brutal Skewering is fantastic. Merciless Skewering is fantastic. As I said, precise techniques, so we're going to need accuracy wheels and we're going to need precision. About a level 13 to 15 precision should be good. Just make sure you don't go into low life before you go down with your skill usage. So just make sure that this is not ticked and that you are basically not low life with your reservation, because you don't want to be low life with your reservation because it messes with your overleach. So we're also doing something interesting here. At least I'm going to test this out in the next league, and that's we're going to be running an Elevore helmet, which gives a lot of suppressed spell suppress. It also gives some element avoidance, which is nice. And then it gives a bunch, 100 to 200 recover life when you suppress spell damage, which is really cool. That's just some cool recovery. And then I'm picking up this spell suppress wheel here and suppress lucky, which gives me up to 76% effective spell suppression chance, which of course is not 100. 100 is always the best, of course. But that's a solid amount for softcore. And on top of all of my other defenses, it's actually should be relatively tanky for mapping. It already was relatively tanky for mapping. I barely died getting all my 4 void stones last league. So this is shaping up to be actually better than before somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but it's shaping up to be better than before. Block zones are good, easier to cap block. We got good regen. It's only a 93 tree. We have more damage than before. We have more defense than before because we have higher block. We have spell suppress, at least lucky spell suppress for 76%. What else to talk about? Mine setup. Since we have so many open sockets, we can actually do a 4-link mine setup with Stormblast Mine, of course, which is we're gonna be able to get up to 18 because of Minefield. We're gonna throw these out way faster than before, so it's gonna be less tedious to stack up 18 mines. Throwing a swift assembly just for some extra mine throwing speed, effective mine throwing speed to get those up quicker. And then charged mines, which you're actually going to probably want to detonate early on bosses. Once you have 18 up, detonate them all. You're going to have max frenzy charges pretty much instantaneously. We have 4 frenzy charges due to we were picking up savagery. So without frenzy charges, we're at 6.9 million, and with frenzy charges, we're at 8.7 million. Big difference. And then you pretty much just want to throw your mines down again, which you're going to get back up to 18 really fast. You just swift assembly and minefield and charged mines, which you get extra mine throwing speed for frenzy charge. So you're going to get 40% increased mine throwing speed for frenzy charge, long swift assembly, and minefield.